All right, let's get right into this one. Kathmandu ate my dreams. I mean, what a title. It just hits you. And the story behind it is, wow. It's this incredibly raw and powerful look at hope, at what people will sacrifice for a dream, and the brutal reality that sometimes meets them on the other side.
So this one sentence, it's everything. It's the whole story of a young man named Bishal Tamang. And it's not just a quote, you know? It's more like a declaration of war. A war he fought every single day against a city that promised him the world but threatened to take every last piece of him.
And you know, so many of these stories, they start in the same exact place, with someone leaving home. But it's never just about a bus ticket, is it? It's a journey that's fueled by the hopes of an entire family. They are literally betting their whole future on one person making it.
And that person was Bishal Tamang. He was just a kid, really, 19 years old when he left his village for the big city, Kathmandu. He had next to nothing, just a couple sets of clothes, a beat-up bag, but his heart, it was absolutely blazing with ambition.
And the money he left with, this wasn't just some spare cash lying around. We're talking about his mother giving him the family's very last piece of gold, an amulet for his protection. And his father? He sold their only buffalo. I mean, can you imagine? They gave him every single thing they had left in the world.
So with a sacrifice like that comes this unbelievable pressure, right? These words from his father weren't just advice, it was a command, a mission. Lift us all. He wasn't just carrying a bag, he was carrying the weight of his entire family's future on his shoulders. But Kathmandu, this city of dreams, well, it had a very different kind of welcome plan for him. That shiny promise of a new life started to show its dark side almost immediately. And it all began with that classic trap, the lure of easy money.
So this was lesson number 1 in the School of Hard Knocks. Bishal borrows money to get into this so-called freelancing course he sees on YouTube. This guru promises a guaranteed income. The reality? He takes the fee from Bishal and 400 other hopeful kids and just, poof, vanishes. That was his first real taste of the city's cruelty. And after that first scam, it wasn't just about the money anymore. That was only the beginning. The city began this slow, grinding process of taking more from him. It started chipping away at his hope, at his dignity, piece by piece.
He tries to do it the right way, right? He gets a job as a waiter. The promise of a salary turns out to be a lie. The owner just pockets half of it. And then, this is just awful, Bishal finds something a customer left behind. He tries to do the right thing and return it, and what happens? He gets accused of stealing, beaten up, and thrown out without a single rupee of his pay.
And remember that gold amulet? The last thing his mom gave him, the one meant to protect him. Well, he gets sick, really sick. With no money and no one to turn to, he's forced to pawn it, the one symbol of his family's hope. Gone, just to survive another day.
The next few years, man, it was just one hit after another. It was relentless. He gets scammed again by some agent promising work overseas. He desperately tries to make freelancing work, creates 27 different accounts, and every single one gets suspended. At one point, he's literally selling his own blood just to send a little money home for his sister. And on top of all of that, he suffers a huge personal heartbreak. It's like the city was trying to erase him.
So now he's 26. After 7 years of being chewed up by the city, he looks decades older. You would think he'd be broken, but he wasn't. Not yet. He decides he has one more fight left in him. He's going to give it one last monumental shot. And this is what he sends out over 300 times. Just this simple, heartbreakingly honest message. After everything he'd been through, this core belief was still there. That was the one thing the city hadn't managed to steal from him, his willingness to work hard. And then, finally, something happens. A breakthrough. A client from Canada hires him for data entry. The pay is awful, just $2 an hour. But for Bishal, at that point, it was everything. It was a lifeline. And he just pours himself into it. For 38 days straight, he works 18-hour shifts. Can you even imagine that kind of grind? He earns $380 and sends most of it straight home. And for that one brief moment, it must have felt like he'd finally won.
And then, the final blow. The client just disappears, vanishes without paying the last invoice. After all that incredible effort, after that tiny glimmer of hope, he gets scammed one last time. It's the ultimate, soul-crushing betrayal. So there he is, at his absolute lowest point, sitting by the river, and he sends this message to his younger brother.
It's like he knows his own fight is over, but he refuses to let the fight itself die. He's passing the torch. It's a warming, yeah, but it's also this incredible testament to resilience.
Bishal's personal battle had reached its end, but the ripple effects of his struggle, the true cost of his dream, well, that was a story that was really just starting to unfold.
2 years later, at just 28 years old, Bishal died from untreated tuberculosis. He died alone in a little plastic-roofed shack. With no one to claim him, his body was thrown into the river. The city that ate his dreams finally took his life without ever even knowing his name. So after hearing all that, you have to ask yourself, what was it all for? Was it all for nothing? And the answer to that, that's where you find the tragic, but also really profound legacy of his sacrifice.
Because that money Bishal sent home, the money he earned through unimaginable suffering, by selling his blood, by working himself to the absolute brink, it wasn't for nothing. It paid for his brother's education. And that brother, he's a nurse now, in Australia, supporting his family and building them a proper home.
So yeah, Bishal lost his personal battle, he lost his gold, his youth, his health, and ultimately his life. He lost his war with Kathmandu. But in a way, his defeat was the very thing that paid for his family's victory. The city couldn't extinguish the fight that was in his blood, it just passed to his brother.
Bishal's story is over. But the thing is, it's not unique. There are thousands of others fighting the same silent, desperate battle tonight, in Kathmandu and in cities all over the world. And that's why this matters, because these invisible people are all around us. The question isn't just if you know a Bishal, but what do we do once we finally start to see them?